Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Harriet and our special guest, Sharday Harrell. How are
I
you?
am doing very well, Dr. Harriet. Thank you for having me.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm so happy you're here. We're oh gosh, get it right, Harriet. Our
Yeah,
subject for today is knowing your why. But before I do so, before we start this today, I want everyone to know who you are. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
absolutely. My name is Sharday Harrell. I call myself the strategist. And because I'm a servant leader and I'm a real estate agent, I work in the pharmaceutical industry since I was 19. And I was a central pharmacy operations leader and pretty much made my way up the ladder. I created that ladder for myself. And what made me want to become a real estate agent is when I became a homeowner. And then I recently got licensed in the finance space. So just a lover of people, lover of God, and I'm a super mom. I have an 11-year-old son who I love so much. He commands my life and my day, and I'm just here to serve. I feel like my gift. I try to market the blessing and not necessarily a brand. Sorry. And I feel like my gift is serving, giving back, because everything that I have learned and had to fought me, which taught me eventually, I'm now paying it forward to serve the community. So that's me.
I love it. And I love the Sharday Serves. That's even your website. And where did that come about?
I think it came from just again being a servant leader. I grew up in the church, in the black community, and sometimes we often forget the people who serve. And that just because you serve doesn't mean you're not the greatest amongst the people that lead, because some of the greatest leaders are servants. We serve the people. So for me, coming up with Sade Serves is I don't care if I'm serving face, if I'm serving a real estate transaction or helping a family with finance planning. I'm serving. If that's hosting your party, if that's singing for you at an event, I just serve. And depending on what you need, I got you.
I love that. I love it. And we have listeners from all around the world. And,
Awesome.
you guys need to make sure to look her up online and check out her website and see where she could serve in whatever capacity in your business or your ministry. And conference speaker, she does it all. So
Thank
definitely
you.
make sure to check her out. Now, I saw a post that you did. Actually, you did this post today. And it said, me, single mom, was struggling financially, no college degree. All I had were dreams and goals. Today, super mom, financially independent, graduated from the University of Adversity. All you need is a vision and a prayer life. Tell us what that means to you. And I know it basically is self explanatory, but talk about that for a second before we get into our subject.
That's awesome. So actually this week I started the daily Kairos journal, and it's to dive in deep and to hear more from God, to memorize scriptures, and also just change your prayer life. So something in the time I had this morning, which is my secret space, my whisper walks. Sometimes I will go and walk and I hear from God. Sometimes I just sit up in the bed, get up early, and I just kind of journal and just have, just some time with God. And I had to think about sometimes people only see the victories and they see where you are now, but they don't know really where you come from. Although that post doesn't really give the pit or the pain and all the price that I paid, the everything in between. But I literally, when I say graduated from adversity, is I probably went through more than I possibly could bear. Most of it is just generational things that we do not talk loudly about, or we don't say out loud. So I dealt with a lot of things that I probably could have told my family, my sisters, or my mom. But because we grew up in a community where we keep our mouth, shut, whether
Right.
it's pride or ego. But I dealt with so much because of perhaps it was pride. But as a single mom, I found myself in a position to where I was seeking love from the person who helped me bring this child to the world, and also thinking that it's purposeful and it was God's design, but it wasn't. And then that struggle, I got hurt, and being on my own, now I feel like having a child, I don't live for myself. My life is not my own. I now have to be that super mom, not single mom, because I got double blessings just from having this child who's, they're really God's children, right? But he assigns us to them.
Right.
And having this assignment to be a mother, and then now I have to fight, go through struggle of raising this child on my own. Not that his father was not in his life or financially supportive, but it's sometimes the moral support. Sometimes it's the
Right.
night when you go through your own struggles and hustles and bustles of life, and you're like, I can't do this because of my child. And then we have to then switch it. Well, I have to do this because of my child. Changing the narrative, though, because it's some things we as mothers and just as people in dignity, we should not do. But I had to change my narrative and change my circle, change my mindset, and literally say, you know what, I may not be able to finish college because my son is lacking academically. He has some challenges from being a premature child. And I had to literally climb my way up in the corporate ladder. So when I say University of Adversity, I chose life as my lesson. I chose life as my teacher. And with going through that, I was able to accomplish many things as a super mom, you know, becoming a homeowner, becoming a business owner, becoming a real estate agent, and really walking in my purpose and becoming the servant leader that I am today. So that's really what that post is about, saying, hey, I was this, but it's because of my mindset and the work that I put in with my faith, I was able to accomplish this.
That's so good. And you know what? I love that you don't have that victim mentality that, you know, I have a kid, so, you know, this is going on. I have a kid, so that's going on. And I can't do this, I can't do that. But you were able to do it, you know? And when we talk about, you know, bringing home the bacon and frying it in a pan and, you know, and growing this child into a man. You know, we're going to take out that other part and say that it's the single moms, you know, I just appreciate you guys. And, you know, it's hard work. I mean, I have always had, you know, a husband in my life, but it's still tough when you're trying to do it all. And I just can't imagine how, you know, you're able to not only raise the child and, you know, and make sure that he's healthy, but your lifestyle's healthy. And I love that. And we're going to be actually talking about that on another platform that we'll be talking about that. And I was just saying to you that I'm looking forward to doing some more singles events with you as well, because the single women need to hear your story. They need to hear that you did it so they can do it too. So don't listen to the naysayers. You can do it too. So I love that. So today we're talking about knowing your why. So tell us how that topic came about, and we'll dive into it. So
I think when you first reached out to me and said, hey, Sharday, I would love to have you on my show. And then immediately my analytical brain was like, oh, what's the topic? You know, just naturally to ask you. Well, you said, well, what's something that you specialize in? What is something that you would like to talk about?
Because you do so much. You do so many things, and you know, and I always give the guests an opportunity to highlight what they, you know, really want to get out to the public. And that was one thing you said. I want people to know their why. And why it's important to know your why. So
and it came up it came up just in that conversation, knowing your why, how to identify your why, because a lot of us are out here struggling, thinking that we are walking in purpose and don't know the difference when it's just passion. And I believe just knowing your why and again, this is from a business perspective, just to put that out there, but knowing your purpose, it just kind of helps steer your business in the right direction, steer your calling, steer your gift. And it really ties behind what motivates you and what inspires you. And that's going to automatically increase an emotional connect with all of, you know, the people that you're serving, your clients and your customers. So I think knowing your why is extremely important, not only for your personal life, professional life, but also your business.
I love that. So tell us again, so give us some steps on a lot of people are going through life. They have no idea of their why. They don't know what their purpose is. They know I'm just here. What is my purpose? You know, I go to work every day. I come home, I cook, I, you know, get the kids ready for bed. I go to bed myself, get up and start the next day. And I don't know why I'm here. Talk to that person.
Wow. That's really good. I think so. Again, from a business perspective, a lot of us will get in business. And if we only enter into business for money, then you're only looking for one result, right? Yes, money it can solve our problems. But I think what we fail to realize is that in business, we are created to solve something. So I remember TD Jake said, if you want to be a business owner, if you're looking for business, find a problem, find people to serve.
Wow.
And to me, that just looked with me. I was like, whoa. Okay, so what problem did McDonald's solve? I'm very analytical. So I started thinking, well, we need to eat, right? We need food. And I'm only just using that reference or a company very roughly. But you get into business, whether you are a real estate agent, because there is obviously people to serve in that space, which is overly saturated, right? But you have to identify your why. In that, you could be Joe that loves coffee, but just because you love coffee doesn't mean you need to open up Joe's Coffee, right? So let's attack that. Everyone is not a business owner. Everyone will not possess a business. Everyone does not have that. Some people really do work well working for a company and creating and drawing out somebody else's plan and their vision. And that's totally fine. You can soar in that space and it can help you do other things, whether that's investment, in other spaces where we can make money and capitalize here in society. But I think it's so important that if you are only in business for money, then you're only solving one thing. Your business can be successful. It could bring you great merit, great increase, and make you happy, right? But the moment or in the event where the business doesn't bring you money right away and it's challenging, and you're in your low or your low peak season and you're not happy, then the only thing that's going to draw you back to your heart is your why. So identifying your why is so important. It's the way I identify my why is why we were created, right? And I don't mean to be as deep as that, but I can easily say my son, because I didn't grow up with a silver spoon, or because I see my family struggle, or because I want to. Some people have a mentality of they just want to show their neighbors or their haters what they're doing. No, I had to draw my why back into we were created for vocation and relation, right? Vocation meaning the occupation, the work that you put out in this world and what you do, right? The labor. And then we think about relation, which I solely feel relationships is the new currency, right? And I think relation is to live out the life work, to connect people, to connect with people, to a more things, and live out his life work of why we were created. And sometimes that would draw us back to why we were created in his image. So one, my why is because we were created in his image to live out the life work that he created us for. So I serve in that space. So every connection that I make with people, and they want to hear my story or they want to know my narrative or my why, is because I was blessed with this gift. And we always talk more about the gift, and we always forget the giver. Right. And that's my why, because I was given this gift. I was blessed with this. And because the creator gave it to me and such, now I'm creating space for other people to be creative, for them to know their why, identify, and to really live out in their purpose and walk in what God has ordained for them. I know I said a lot, but
no, I know that's really good. I like that. And that's something that I think we should teach our kids even early on in life, being a teenager. What do you love to do? Help them learn what their why is. A lot of times, I've in my own family, it was the same thing. Oh, you should be a teacher. I was traveling. In my business, I was traveling all over the world and, making really good money and meeting people from everywhere, all walks of life, helping people grow. And my mother would tell me that, why don't you want to be a teacher like your sister?
Wow.
And where they came from, being a teacher, was very prestigious in where she grew up in, in a rural area. And that was prestigious for her. And so, but I just knew what I wanted to do. Right. But a lot of kids don't know what they want to do. And that's one thing I've always told my kids. What is your passion? What do you want to do?
Awesome.
And that's the thing that we should teach our kids on, knowing your why. What do you love? What would you like to share with the world? What do you want to help the world with? Even when it comes to, doing philanthropy, community service, what do you like to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your why.
That's so good.
What fulfills you? And even if you do work a regular 9 to 5 job, you still have the opportunity in the evenings and weekends to serve your why.
Yeah.
Isn't that
That's so
true?
good. Yes, that's so good. And I heard you say something about passion. A lot of people will mistaken, your purpose can be different from your passion.
Right.
Passion to me is an art of an emotion. That's an emotion. Purpose is the reason for which you do something. The reason in which something is done. Your why gives you more influence, and it's so much more to serve. I feel like, and we know that entrepreneurs are the richest people in the world. But I also feel like the most successful people in the world is the ones that know their why, because they know who to serve. They know the reason behind what they're doing, and they know their purpose. And the why and purpose goes hand in hand. So you discover, what makes it easier to communicate, because if you don't know your why, you don't know your product, you don't know your gift, you don't know your purpose. So I just think and a lot of people may be still in their discovery mode. They haven't figured that out. And I can definitely give steps, as
I
to
like
how
that. Yeah, I
to
love that.
align with that.
And even Sharday, I want you to speak to even people who are of age, who are more seasoned. They've gone through their life, they've worked a job, now they may be retired, and they still don't even know their why. Is it
Wow.
too late? Is it ever too late to discover your why? Talk to those people.
Listen, Dr. Harriet, it is never too late to discover your why. You know why? Because if you have a pulse, there is still a plan. And I feel like even in your time of leisure,
Say that again, girl. I like that. If you have a pulse, I love that.
because even in your time of leisure, retirement, you may have retired from work, right? Or a job. A lot of people have to realize that you can get fired from a job, but you're not fired from your gift. Your gift you still possess that. That's still in you. So that's also for the ones that are in retirement. They're like, well, what is my gift? That could be sewing back wisdom. That can be the ebooks. That can just be community time. That can be giving your time back to an organization. It's never too late to discover your why. Because even if you think about how I've done, right? Because you can say, well, I know how to do something and I've done it for 25 years and I retired from it, right? But then, well, why did you do it? Because there was obviously a mission and a purpose from that CEO or that chairman or someone. If there was a vision, it's always a mission statement. So they can be able to help someone else navigate through their work life, because I also help young professionals as well in their career development. So it's never too late. Never. Again, if there is a post, God still has a plan.
I love that. And even talk about that, Sharday. Talk about your mentorship program that you do and your coaching that you do for people. Talk about that.
I get so passionate about it because I think that's the part of talking about the blessing versus the brand for me. I was a operational leader in a Fortune 500 company, cultivating and developing young professionals. And that's when I knew, I was like, oh, I really, really love doing this, because I was not that leader that tell you what to do and I couldn't do it myself. No, I made my way up. I was also a representative, an entry level employee, just like you, working out in the field. So what made me stand out as a leader is, and became the top performing leader consecutively, quarterly, and literally had the loudest personality, the brightest hair, the most tattoos, and again, didn't finish college. But what made me stand out is because I came in, I put the work in, I clocked in for myself, and I was able to show and demonstrate and not just explain to my team how to do it, but I also demonstrated and showed them how to do it. And I tell you what, that just, it lit a fire in me, knowing that coaching and mentoring others, because sometimes they don't know where to start. They may not have that cheerleader. They may not have that coach that can draw out the plan for them. And doing that from a corporate and a professional standpoint was so rewarding, more than just what my salary was. And I said, you know what? I want to carve out some time to be able to do this on my own. And I created my own consulting business 3 years ago. I started out with Mushi Online, which is a childhood nickname, and it's so tied to me. But I was able to come up with an acronym. Mushi, the M is mentorship. The E is, I'm sorry, the U. Like I know how to spell my own nickname. The U is the unicorn, because when I tell you I am different, I am different. Literally different. The S is obviously sisterhood, because I have the heart of women's ministry, and that will never leave. H obviously became home ownership. I've been licensed for 2.5 years. And E is the entertainment side, because I am a minister of song and I also have a podcast. So I was able to give back to that. And now it's, in the same LLC as Sharday Serves, where it's a fictitious name. And it's still my consulting business. I hold people accountable. I am that coach for them, and I give them the strategies to be successful. Best practices that I did for myself, identifying their why and how to really advance themselves for their next level in their career, their business, or their life.
That's so good. And they can actually reach out to you on all of your social media as well as your website to find out more information on how to become a part of your mentorship program or even your coaching program. I love that. So even someone who is listening today, okay, we talked about the young people, starting them off early. And another thing, even with that, I just want to really touch on that really quick, as I'm really big about. I do something with the Boys and Girls Club weekly with the girls, and I always talk about that with those young ladies, to be thinking about, even as early as 8th grade, what college do you want to go to? And if you don't want to go to college, what vocational school do you want to go to? You don't have the option of either or. If you're not going to college, you need to be doing some type of vocation. College isn't for everyone, but you need to have something. But what are you passionate about early? So we talked about that a little bit, and we've talked about even, as you are older, maybe you retired and you're seasoned. Okay, so you can still know your why. What about those people who, I'm in a career, I'm not fulfilled, I'm not enjoying myself, I hate going to work every day. This cannot be my why. What would you say to that person who needs to make a change, or, getting the courage? Because a lot of people don't have the courage to make a change. So they go through life being miserable because they're afraid of change. What would you say to that person?
That's so good, because I think a lot of people are actually dealing with that. And like, where can I start with that space? Because being a people's manager and being a leader in Century Pharmacy operations or corporate America in general, you see a lot of people that are really just there just to kind of get by and make their money, but they may not be being utilized to their full capacity. Some people can be undermined. They may have a gift and a work ethic that's not being spoken for with the work they're putting out. So one, you first have to ask yourself, does my gift enhance or limit the environment or the community that's around me? If I'm here at a call center and I'm taking these calls and just refilling these prescriptions or whatever it is, or giving these people insurance plans, and you have to ask yourself, is this enhancing me, my community? Is this a gift, or this is just something that's going to get me by to where I need to be? So we have to avoid misalignment of our expectations. You have to know, when I apply for this job or this company, this is to do what? What are my expectations? To grow, to get money and feed, or is it get money to feed the true thing that I want to do and I'm purposely driven for? So first, align your expectations when you do, go and work for someone else on their job. Is this just something on the side, or is this going to fund that true passion that I have of mine? So a lot of us we have to avoid misalignment of our expectations. Also, knowing your why gives you the aim. I literally had to build an acronym on AIM. That's A, accountability, right? These are the steps. The I is insight. Now if I know my why, I'm able to aim for my goals, aim for my strategies, aim for my career, my purpose, and my end result of my life. So now that's accountability, that's insight, and then that's also management. And we cannot manage what we can't measure. If you don't know why I'm doing this every day for 8, 10, 15, or 12 hours, and it's not getting me anything that's fulfilling within inside of me, then I'm not managing my life. It's unhealthy. It's toxic. So I really encourage you guys to really walk in your true purpose and identify and align, is this job just a job, or is this work, the experience, that the expectation, I'm sorry, not experience, that's going to get me to my next level. And you'll be surprised how far you can go knowing that.
That's good. And even, we have to be bold. I have one of my daughters. I don't know if she wants me to mention this, but I will. But
Nice.
she was working. She applied for a new job. And when she went in, she applied for one specific thing that she was supposed to be doing. And that's why she was hired to do this. Well, once she got on the job, it was a whole different thing. Okay, so now we want you to do this. And she's like, well, that's not what I applied for. And she was bold enough to say, you know what, this is not what I applied for. So I'm going to go back on that board, on that job board, and see what fits me. And, and that's what she did. And she ended up being bold. And I mean, in coming out with a job that she's making a lot more money, and she's super happy. She's extremely happy because she was bold enough to say, this is not what I signed up for. And absolutely. I think that's the issue with a lot of people, no matter, if it's on your job or, even working in the church, you may have something you're doing in the church. You're not be doing that. So I'm not happy, just because, sister so-and-so thinks I have a great personality, so I should be a greeter. Well, if I'm not a greeter type person, I'm not going to be happy in that position. We have to be bold enough to say, yes, this is not what I signed up for. Yeah. This is not my why.
Yeah. The role and the responsibility is more important than the title.
Say that again.
I said your role and your responsibilities are more important than just the title.
There you go. Absolutely. Somebody around the world needed to hear that today. And even somebody needed to hear this whole conversation. And we're just asking people to just be bold. Take your life in your hands. Call Sharday and say, hey, look, I need you, sister. I need for you to help me find my why.
Absolutely. And I'm here to serve.
On how do I find my why? How do I make this change in my life? I want to live on purpose, in my life, or
live on purpose and purpose.
Yes.
I literally was reading a book the other day. I'll have to get the author, but they were saying living in your purpose on purpose. Because it's literally like, now I know what my purpose is. So now I'm doing it in purpose, but also on purpose. I'm more intentional about what I do. So I just love that you have to be intentional about what you do every day.
And before we go, I even want to just suggest to the singles who are out there, when you're looking for a mate, talk to your mate. Let your mate know, what your hopes and your dreams are. Because if they're not in line to your why as well, that's going to be an issue in your life. Yeah. So again, if you're a single and you're looking for a mate, isn't that true?
I agree with that. Sometimes they will forfeit
that person's why. They could be as cute as they want to be, and but if they're not in line with what your goal is and what you want to do in life, it's going to be just issues, and drama that's unnecessary. So we want to encourage our singles even to do that as well. Our time is ticking. Gosh, it's gone by so fast. Will you come back again?
Oh my God, I would love to. I love this. This is just this is what gives me fire. I love it.
Oh, good. And and look out for us, because we're going to be doing some Instagram and some Facebook lives, and we just want to encourage everyone. This is what we do. Yes. We're you actually say Sharday serves. That's you're a strategist. You Sharday the strategist. You want to help people. Yes. And so we are going to help you help people.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to even sharing more. So thank you again so much for being here. And I just appreciate you. We're looking forward to all the collaborations and things we'll be doing in the future. And they will see you back here on Conversations with Dr. Harriet, right here on the Power Network. So thank you again, Sharday Harrell.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, today only happens once, so make it amazing. Have a great day.